So, you want to be an e-girl. It's a hard path to take, and if you truly want to do this, it's not going to be easy. This is something that the manliest, strongest men often fail to achieve. Difficult and tedious as it may be, it is possible. With that being said, if you are determined to do it, let's get started. By the end of this video, we're going to go from this to this. All of this silly intro stuff aside, it actually is kind of difficult. There's a few things you're probably going to need to do in advance. First, you're going to need to buy some stuff, so if you don't already have the things I'm going to be talking about, I hope you have the money to be getting whatever it is that you will need. In my opinion, it's also a good idea to hit the gym for reasons that we are going to be getting into later. And ultimately, I'm going to be honest, you probably will not be entirely happy with the end result. I'm going to get into reasons as to why you probably won't be happy with the end results in the video as well. It's pretty important. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. How can we go from whatever it is that we look like now into Astolfo, or Phyllis, or whatever fictional character that you see? And the answer is you don't. Like how I was saying about you will never be 100% happy, I believe that the anime, like femboy or like fake girl aesthetic is very toxic. It gives us something that is impossible to achieve. You will never look like an anime character. That sounds obvious, but the problem is, anytime you ever see anyone talking like femboys or someone like cross-dressing, 99% of the time is represented via an anime character, right? And that is misleading. It is unfair. It gives us unreasonable beauty standards that obviously cannot be achieved. All I'm trying to say is, please understand that you are not going to look like Astolfo or Phyllis Argyle, or at least if you do, you are part of an extreme minority of people that can pull off that aesthetic, and the chances are you probably won't be able to. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started for real. Alright, number one, you need to shave. Kind of obvious. As you can see, I've got like a whole bunch of stubble here. Ooh, wow, that's hot, isn't it? Yeah, that's not what anyone ever said. You need to shave, get a nice razor. For shaving, I personally use Equate Shave Foam. It's like literally 57 cents. For the razor, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Fusion brand and it's got 4 blades. It's pretty common. You can find it in like any store ever. Okay, so we're gonna shave and then be right back. And ta-da, we are now nice and clean shaven. On God, I nicked off like half my face doing it, but I was also doing it in like 2 fucking minutes. Another important aspect that's often overlooked by people is getting your eyebrows done. Guys tend to have bushier eyebrows, so get them trimmed, get them nice and sharp, and generally you want to go on the thinner side. Mine naturally are very bushy, but as you can see right now, they're relatively thin. Even though there are still like some shadows left. It's okay, we're gonna fix that up later. So while I am clean shaven, there is a decent bit of shadows left behind. For example, you can see a bit of mustache shadow, and I promise you my upper lip is as smooth as my brain right now. Okay, number two. You're going to most likely want to have some form of long hair. You could try growing it out yourself, or you could get a wig. If you're gonna get a wig, I would highly encourage you to get one that matches your natural hair color. Remember, the goal is to look as natural, or I guess authentic as possible, and I believe this is done best by working with what you already naturally do have. Or at the very least, keep the color within a natural color. I have a pink one, for example, and it does not look very convincing. As you can see, it is not very convincing whatsoever, and even when I put on the other wig, as of right now, it's still not going to be very convincing. It's a whole process. And so here's the more naturally colored wig. I got this at a Halloween store for like 20 bucks. It kind of gives like the boxy look, the mid-2000s like emo girl kind of look. You're gonna want to have some kind of long hair Obviously, I'm still not passing, hopefully yet. Anyway, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is your clothing. Normally, e-girls do not dress like this, or at least if they do, they are not as bulky. And luckily, we can fix that by adjusting our clothing. Boom. Now I'm wearing an oversized hoodie. Obviously, it's better than when you can see my entire arms. If you're very thin, you probably can get away with wearing something that reveals your arms, but I'm willing to bet that the majority of people are going to need to wear some kind of hoodie. Generally speaking, the bigger it is, probably the better. So that brings us to number 4. This is gonna be your camera angles and lighting. This is extremely important. What we need to do is do something that will hide our jawline. Generally, you want to avoid having very heavy shadows. For example, this is what happens when I turn the ring light off. It doesn't look as good. It's not terrible, but I would argue that this probably looks better. So regarding lighting, try to have as much as you can that you are comfortable with. Guys tend to have pretty broad jawlines, or at least compared to girls do. So we need to do something that's gonna make our jaw look smaller. There are some things that we can do to conceal our jaw, but right now we're gonna focus on what we can do with our camera. We need to make sure that the camera is up and pointed downwards. So we go from this into this. While this obviously isn't perfect, it's better because 1, you can't see my Adam's apple, or at least it's a lot harder to, and 2, my jawline looks a bit smaller. In conclusion for this section, try to have your camera up and pointed downwards. Doing this makes your jawline look smaller and will conceal your Adam's apple. If you're one of the very few people who are lucky enough to have a very soft jawline, maybe like Sneaky or Finster, then this rule doesn't need to be applied, I guess, as hard for you. But for the overwhelming majority of people, this is gonna be the case. You'll notice that even with Finster, his camera angles are almost always shot up and pointed downwards towards him. Number 5, this is posturing. Odds are you are bigger than the average girl, and so that means that you need to shrink yourself down. This is me sitting normally. However, if I have them go back, I'm gonna pull my hoodie forward a little bit, then it looks a lot better. Doing this is gonna do a few different things. 1, it's gonna puff out your chest, and that helps for obvious reasons. 2, it's gonna make your shoulders look smaller, and then 3, it's gonna make your head look bigger, which in turn makes you hopefully look a bit cuter. This looks a lot better than doing this. Number 6, this one is not really needed, it's kind of a bonus, but it's something that I found myself being very happy for, and that other people have actually commented on, and that is bench press. Bench press is an exercise that's going to give you literal boobs. Well, I mean, it's really gonna be pecs, but the thing is that you're gonna have cleavage. I've been to parties where I'm in girl mode and I'm wearing more revealing clothing, and people will say, oh, you have cleavage. Number 7, shapewear. Shapewear is something that you put underneath your clothes to make the shape of your body look different than it actually is. This is literally just me wearing a wig and a jacket versus, boom, now I have boobs. For this, all I did was throw on a bra and then stick 1 sock on each side. If you're revealing your lower half as well, then you probably should look into something called hip pads. As a guy, you're probably not gonna have very big hips whatsoever. However, hip pads, well, they can change that. Also, as a side note, you probably should shave your hands too. Or like maybe wear like cosplaying gloves or something. I did not feel like shaving mine, but yeah, you should definitely do something about that. Number 8, this is one that we obviously all were waiting for, makeup. Makeup is very important. Like I said, I have a good bit of mustache shadow, and the only way to really conceal that is with some kind of makeup. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a makeup expert. I'm really not. However, I can tell you what I do use. I got lipstick and eyeshadow at a dollar store. I managed to get magnetic eyeliner and a set of fake eyelashes, I think for like 30 bucks. I believe it's called concealer. It's the thing that's like your skin color and you would put it on to like, you know, hide your shadow mustache. And lastly, I also have some blush. If you need a makeup tutorial, I am not the person for that. You should definitely look at someone else. There are countless makeup tutorials on YouTube that you can find. Definitely not gonna be one from me. If you want, you could also get like a prop. Like, look at these fake glasses. Like, they don't even have lenses, but I think maybe they help a little bit, maybe. Anyway, so this is without makeup versus this. So aside from butchering my makeup with the blush and looking like a whole ass clown, I would say that this definitely is a better aesthetic than what we had before. Also, it was not concealer, it was foundation, my bad. Okay, moving on. Number 9, the voice. This one can be pretty important. So I've already talked about how I do the girl voice for quite some time now, actually. It's still definitely not perfect, and my voice is already kind of tired because I've literally been talking throughout this entire fucking video. However, right now, it's good enough, I guess. Learning how to do the girl voice can really be the make or break between if people 100% think that you're passing or if you're not. Knowing how to do the girl voice is pretty important. If you know how to speak up clearly and properly, and it takes a lot of practice, like, sure, but if you know how to do that, then it'll really set you apart from other people because most people have no idea how to do the fucking voice. Learn how to do the voice. If you're wondering how I learned how to do it, I uploaded 3 videos a while back. Give those a look, and that's how I learned how to do my girl voice, and I think it's pretty good, or at least a lot better than most people's. So give it a big shot, and good luck doing it. Good luck feeling like a fucking dweeb every time you mess up. Okay, so now that we've got the voice down, we are down to number 10, our final last way to become an e-girl. We're so close, we've come so far. Number 10, this is something that for number 10, I'm actually pretty conflicted. I call this cheats. Okay, sorry to disappoint, but I'm going to talk in this voice because my voice is really starting to fucking hurt. I've been talking for way too long, so if you want me to do this voice for the whole video, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do this voice. I call this section the cheat section, and that's because you can do some cheeky things to bypass a lot of the things that we were trying to fix earlier. For example, getting past that masculine jaw is pretty hard. And so something that people will do is maybe wear a mask, and that does work. For example, look at me now versus look at me now. As you can see, my jawline is concealed entirely. I'm not sure if it looks better with the nose revealed or with it up here, but regardless, makeup you don't need to worry about. My jawline you don't need to worry about. You can't even see it. It's not a bad look. However, my problem with the mask is that, in my opinion, I think it can help enforce a negative beauty standard. Some people are gonna have broad jawlines, and that's okay. I call this a bit of a cheat because you get to bypass a lot of things by just wearing a mask. However, you are hiding literally half of your face. There's nothing wrong with wearing a mask, and it can be a really good thing, especially if you're out in public. The next cheat is a filter. When I throw on a filter, I would say though that if anything, this probably is the best look though. If you're gonna use a filter, probably use something that will make your jawline look smaller. Using something that kind of smooths everything out is definitely not a terrible idea. If it works, it works. And yeah, that's it. Those are our 10 steps to becoming an e-girl. We started with this, we came all the way over to here. Just like that, those are 10 easy peasy steps to becoming an e-girl, even though I said it was gonna be really hard at first. And it can be really hard trying to figure out how to do all this stuff, for sure. Yeah, that's basically all there is to it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If this video blows up like how some of my other videos did regarding this subject, then maybe I'll do something else regarding it. It'll be really fun. Hopefully, maybe. I have no fucking clue. Shit. This was actually a lot of fun to make. I haven't done this in a good minute, but it's pretty fun.
Maybe one day I'll get the girl voice down like 100%. I need to practice it some more, to be honest. I guess that's about it, so let me know if there's something else I should do. Okay, yeah, bye. I was not like making sure my wig looked good at all. Holy shit. I was looking so fucking ratchet. Okay, well, okay, now I look a little bit better, maybe? I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Dude, on God, I butchered the shit out of this thing. I have no idea how people do makeup. Like, on God. I got way too much on one side and not enough. Oh, this is so bad. I said I am not a makeup artist whatsoever, but it's, yeah, we'll just say I got sunburn.
eGirl.
Girl.
Girl. Girl.
Girl. Girl.
Girl. Girl. Girl. An eGirl. Hey, y'all, I'm so fucking ratchet right now. Like, that ass.
Well, I wonder if I used the prop actually. Hold on, let me try something. No.
What am I doing with my life?